Is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.
Ashaiman residents demand immediate dismissal of senior military officers who sanctioned the swoop, as one victim has been reported dead.
Also tonight, National Union of Ghana Students petitions Parliament as a matter of urgency to uncap Ghana Education Trust Fund.
Still ahead in the bulletin, traders at the redeveloped KGTR market blame management of the facility over fire incident. We will tell you why.
Later tonight, late Black Stars winger Christian Atsu to be laid to rest tomorrow, March 17. Later
in business tonight, individual bondholders urge Finance Ministry to act in a manner that will engender investor confidence in the Ghanaian economy.
On the international front, Libya Armed Forces find 2.5 tons of uranium ore that were reported missing.
We've got details of all these stories plus many more coming up in the next 60 minutes. Remember, we're streaming live on Facebook. We're also live on your DSTV channel 279. You can join us with your views, comments and suggestions on any of our top stories this hour. Visit any of our social media pages, Facebook and Twitter. Share your comments with us and we promise to share them with the rest of the world. Let's begin from Ashaiman, where residents want the military head who sanctioned the swoop in the community leading to the brutalities and the death of a victim dismissed. They made the demand when the Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament and the Military High Command visited the community. My colleague Judith Awachitando reports.
They gathered in sorrow, many still seething with anger, as the Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament, alongside with the Military High Command, visited the family and residence of the late soldier, Imoro Sharif, whose killing triggered reprisal dawn attacks from the military 2 weeks ago. This is the first time since the incident and dawn raid that the military said was in search of suspects that the committee has made an appearance in the community. And it is obvious that the anger and pain of the residents from that raid has not completely died down.
We are tired of military brutalization.
They observed a minute's silence for what they said was a dark day for the community and now wants tangible action against whoever sanctioned the raid that brutalized them that dawn.
We are saying that all properties damaged, we've collected most of the information. We want those properties restored to their status before the damage. 2, adequate compensation for the victims. 3, all the military high command that gave the unlawful order should be dismissed immediately.
The defense minister was unable to make any promises on the demand for compensation, but he did offer an apology and said this will not happen again.
This is not the first time that you have had issues with the Ghana Armed Forces. It tells me that there is a fundamental problem that we need to resolve. So, Mr. Chairman, whatever you are doing, please give me recommendations that the Ministry of Defense will use to ensure that the two communities, the military community and the Ashama community, can find a way of living in peace forever and ever.
But for the family, it was a moment of pain as they recounted their ordeal upon hearing of the death of their son. Defense Minister Dominic Nitiwu commiserated with the family and promised to put an end to the killing of soldiers in the country.
But this should serve as the last time that anybody in Ghana thinks that he can use force of arms to make a living. The state will not sit aloof and allow that to happen.
The committee promised to probe into the evidences presented and proffer recommendations. They further urged residents to help bring the perpetrators of the killing to book.
We know the people, or we know the perpetrators, and we all keep quiet. If we do that, innocent people, like what has happened to you last week, will happen. So I'm pleading that next time, we don't shield anybody. To delve into this matter and come out with the truth.
Pressure has been growing on the military to act since the raid, but apart from a statement explaining their actions as a sanctioned operation by the military high command, they have said very little. That stance continues to draw criticism from a lot of people, including this member of parliament.
I have never seen any absurdity in my life. That if you can't find a killer, be the innocent. And in so do you find a killer. We can celebrate this kind of, with the greater Bangladesh in this democratic dispensation we have. And we are craving the indulgence of those who are supposed to investigate these matters. And they should go about and make an example out of some of these situations.
The anger of the community has been visible for many days, as evidenced by the insistence of the residents that they would be forced one day to confront the military.
If this thing is going to continue, 70 million will not take it easy with them, because I don't know anything. I don't know what is my crime.
But the committee says it hopes this does not happen. Its chairman, Kennedy Ejapon, promised to fund the education of the late Imoro's younger brother till he completes his tertiary education, while promising the community that their concerns will be addressed. Judith Awuchitando, TV3 News, Ashaman.
Pretty interesting development coming there from Ashaiman. We're going to stay a while longer on the subject. We're hoping to establish contact with Emmanuel Kutin, who's a security analyst, to help us do some analysis on the latest visit by the minister and some of the issues that have come out of that meeting. We're told Mr. Kutin has joined us live on Zoom. Thank you very much. Mr. Kutin is a security analyst. Thank you very much for joining us here, sir, on News 360. Now, we've had calls by residents for military top brass to be sacked for sanctioning the Ashaiman soup, which is coming on the back of the death of one of the victims of the military brutality. What's your own view on this?
Well, thank you for having me, and good evening to your very cherished viewers. I think it is too early for the victims to be calling for the sacking of commanders who gave these orders. Like I iterated earlier, until we set up a nonpartisan commission of inquiry that will do the good people of this country good by telecasting it live, then we'll see the fault line around the value chain. We cannot be able to pinpoint who gave what command and under what circumstances. It is true that this unfortunate incident has happened, but as a civilized society, we have to do things in tandem with the law. So we are talking about democracy here, and we cannot just apportion blame on the face value of what we saw until a proper inquiry is put in place, and then things will unravel. So I will urge the residents to be patient and let the law take its own course.
I'm wondering why we would need an inquiry to be able to adequately determine those who took or who gave these orders. Indeed, there was a statement from the military who said that this action was sanctioned by the top hierarchy. I mean, we saw the use of state resources. We saw helicopters. Obviously, the military vehicles that went into Ashaiman were fueled with state money. And so clearly, these are people who can be easily found out without the setting up of a committee of inquiry.
That is not in doubt. Remember, we are practicing democracy and we must go by the rule of engagement. Until a commission of inquiry is put in place, how are you going to know who did what and who gave what orders? The military hierarchy is in vague here. Because if you say the military hierarchy, is it the CDS who gave the command? Or it was the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, which is the president, who gave the command? Or it was a sector commander who gave the command? You wouldn't be able to determine this. And I want us to use Ashama as a case study so that we can prove to the rest of the world that indeed our democratic experiment is one that has gained roots and continue to grow, and that we live in a civilized society and we want things to be done in tandem with the law. Otherwise, whom are you going to blame? Is it the CDS? For all you know, the CDS may not be aware.
And so who is going to initiate? And so who's going to initiate the process of the setting up of these commission of inquiry? We haven't heard the president as at now comment on this matter. He's the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. It's been almost a week since these atrocities were perpetrated in Ashaiman. He's not said a word about it.
I think the Minister of Interior and that of Defense have not helped the president. Don't forget, the Minister of Interior and that of the Defense are MPs and, for that matter, representative of the people. So the interests of the larger general public should interest them most than the forces they represent. That is why we are of the view that the continuous silence of the president is untenable. So today, I heard the defense minister speak. So to me, he hid under the Defense and Interior Committee to speak. To speak as who? A member of the committee or as the defense minister? Because the point is that he's not the chairman of the committee. And the pronunciation he made at that gathering were quite unfortunate. We must be reminded that we live in democracy, and he got appointed as a defense minister because he was elected by his people. So if we are talking about calling for a public inquiry, Parliament is the representative of the people. Parliament is clothed with that power to initiate that commission of inquiry that will be telecast live, so that the world will have confidence in our democracy that, look, when we get it wrong, we use the legal processes to remedy same. And secondly, you know that security these days is about intelligence gathering. Where do we get the intelligence from? From the citizens we are brutalizing. So our fight against terrorism will be in jeopardy if we don't do the good people of Ghana some sort of good to repair this broken, or if you like, the damaged relationship that has been caused as a result of this unfortunate incident in Ashama on the larger community of our security agencies. It will be difficult for the citizens to cooperate with our security agencies as far as intelligence gathering is concerned. And our fight against terrorism will be lost to begin with.
Emmanuel Kutin, I've got to say a big thank you to you. Thanks very much for joining us here on News 360. We do appreciate your time and you're joining us here on News 360. Portia?
Let's continue with the rest of our stories. And the National Union of Ghana Students has petitioned Parliament to, as a matter of urgency, uncap the Ghana Education Trust Fund, GET Fund. According to the student body, capping of the GET Fund has since 2019 deprived the education sector of more than 3.7 billion cedis worth of funding. Christian Yali reports.
Leadership of the National Union of Ghana Students, NUGS, and the Africa Education Watch raised concerns about what they describe as the inequitable financing of the education sector. According to them, this year's budgetary allocation to the education sector is the lowest in 2 decades. Among other things, NUGS wants the Education Committee to reject the 2023 proposed formula for disbursing the GET Fund. only 39% of the levy is to be released to the fund.
Our concerns primarily stems out of the declining funding for education, which emanates from GETS Fund. In 2017, this House enacted Act 947, which has become more of an enemy to the progress of students. Out of 4.6 billion that is supposed to be accrued to GETS Fund, only 1.8 billion, representing 39%. You stand at a crossroad where the fate of our young students lies in your hands. Reject the 2023 proposed formula for disbursing GETS Fund, move strictly to, in collaboration with the Finance Committee, initiate steps to immediately uncap GETS Fund.
Receiving the petition, the chairman of Parliament Education Committee, Kwabena Amankwa Asiama, assured that urgent steps are being taken already to ensure that the GETS Fund is uncapped.
GETS Fund is the only dedicated fund that has been earmarked for the development of education in our country. Capping it to the extent of giving it about 17.5% in recent act, I think it's not the right thing. Education is expensive, very, very expensive. But if you try vices and ignorance of the youth, in later years it will cost you harmfully and more than if you had used the money to educate your youth.
The ranking member on the committee, Peter Nochikotoi, also gave this assurance.
We want to assure you that the committee will take all steps that are needed or necessary to make sure that GETS Fund is decapped. I can inform you that Chairman and myself and the committee, we have already taken the step.
The executive director of the Africa Education Watch, Kofi Asare, served notice of continuous engagement with relevant stakeholders until the GETS Fund is uncapped.
One of the issues to be considered at the committee level is the GETS Fund formula, which we are asking the committee to reject it. Anytime you go to the schools and you see that there are schools under trees, children learning on the floor and everything you see related to resource deficit, bear in mind that less than 20% of GETS Fund accruals is likely to hit the account this year. So there's a double capping now of not only GETS Fund but other earmark funds. But we are focused on GETS Fund because that is education cash.
Aside from issues of education infrastructure, NUGS has over the past weeks demanded immediate release of student loans to beneficiaries. It believes the capping of GETS Fund is what has contributed to such shortfall in the sector. Christian Yali, TV3 News, Parliament House, Accra.
Let's go to the Ashanti region, where traders at the redeveloped KJTR market have blamed management for several fire incidents at the facility. The National Fire Service has attributed the delay in putting out yesterday's fire to non-adherence to recommendations it has made. The regional fire commander, who made this known when he visited the scene to get first-hand information on the incident, further disclosed that the facility has no fire safety certificate. Ibrahim Abubakar reports.
In total, 54 shops were affected by Wednesday's fire at the largest market in Kumasi. It took firefighters several hours to bring the situation under control. The Ghana National Fire Service said management of the redeveloped KJTR market did not adhere to its recommendations to change the couplings of the facility's fire hose. Hence the delay in dousing the flames.
The challenge is the couplings. It's not compatible with ours. So if you fight the fire using their hoses and you want to extend further and you need to extend the line, that's where you have a challenge, because we can't use ours to extend. We've written to them severally that these things need to be amended, these things need to be rectified before anything happens. We want the minimum standards to be maintained. And so far as we are concerned, they've not been, and that is why we've not renewed them. They've applied for it, but we've also written back to them, telling them exactly what we want them to do before we can renew it.
Leadership of the traders also chastised management of the market for ignoring the recommendations and traders' concerns on fire safety issues.
The smoke detectors in the market that were not functioning, early alarm warning system that was not functioning, the couplings that the Ghana National Fires had recommended that the management should change it for them, all came to bear that if those things were activated yesterday, the extent of damage would have been minimal. Then also, there was no flow of water from the hydrant early when the fire started. These are some of the things that we have been raising over the years. If the regional fire commander is saying KJTR is not fire worthy, so they've no issue fire certificate to them, it implies that there is no insurance policy covering the markets.
The Ashanti Regional Minister, who led members of the Regional Security Council to visit the fire scene and assess the extent of damage, hinted a committee will be constituted to investigate the cause of the fire and address some concerns of the traders.
From my own point of view, I think a committee will be very necessary at this point, in the sense that we have to know certain things. Certain things must be clarified. Why? One, why is it that the sprinkler did not switch on when the fire started? Because the moment the fire starts, the sprinkler should turn on automatically. Why didn't it happen that way? The people had to go and switch it on.
Management of the market, however, absolved itself from blame.
You see, before this market was open, the fire service gave certification. They approved that the system here is capable of handling whatever fire that will come here. As far back as 2018, 2019. Otherwise, how did we get the market opened if it didn't have the requisite equipment and gadgets to fight fire? It has. The fire service is asking us to further improve upon it by adding adapters to join their hoses. Should it be that we need to deploy beyond a certain length, anything that will make the system better and improve upon it, nobody will be against it. And so this is something definitely that we are going to do. It's in our budget.
Meanwhile, some traders have begun counting their losses a day after the incident. I sell thread, sponge and plastic bowls here. I lost all investment worth 60,000 cedis in the fire outbreak.
I didn't salvage anything here. I even forgot to pick my 15,000 cedis in the store when the fire started. I'm even fortunate I sent some money at the bank to pay off some people I owe. I've lost everything.
Even though the market has been shut down for 3 days, victims were allowed entry for only 2 hours to assess the situation for themselves and also try to retrieve some of their unburnt items. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, KJTR Market, Kumasi.
Away from Kumasi, I'll tell you what's been happening on the fuel pumps today, and fuel prices have reduced at the pumps. The Institute of Energy Security, IES, projected a 3% to 10% reduction in the second pricing window in March.
Some oil marketing companies have reduced prices of petrol and diesel. Petrol and diesel was selling at 13 cedis 80 pesos at the beginning of the month. Petrol now sells at 12 cedis 95 pesos and diesel at 13 cedis 49 pesos. Based on the adjustment, the price of diesel has declined by 2.29% per litre, whilst petrol has gone down by about 6%. Some consumers lauded the government's efforts at reducing fuel prices while demanding further reduction.
I think it's a very good thing. We are happy. I didn't expect it this morning. But the only concern is that we hope that it's sustainable. It's not a 9-day wonder. That's the only concern I have. But I think it's a very good thing.
I wanted the government to reduce the fuel price so that it will cut out because of us a Uber driver, so that we can benefit and gain more about it.
Now that the prices have reduced, I will be able to purchase more fuel as an Uber driver. We hope the price further declines. I used to purchase 700 cedis, but today I purchased 500 cedis.
The reduction in price of petroleum products, according to the Institute for Energy Security, is as a result of two major price indicators: falling international prices of oil, and the local currency's appreciation against the US dollar.
Let's now go to Parliament, where a former energy minister and the current deputy minister for energy faced off in a fierce debate over the gold for oil deal by government. At the penultimate debate on the State of the Nation's address, the deputy minority leader insisted that the program cannot account for the current drop in fuel prices.
The reason why petrol prices have gone down is that crude prices were over $100 and they come down to $72 per barrel globally. Check it. It has nothing to do with Baumia. It has nothing to do with gold for oil. It is shocking. It is unthinkable. And this must be investigated. This so-called gold for oil is going to expose the Bank of Ghana to huge debt. They have consistently fought for this policy to fail. Because if you listen to the commentary from our friends on the other side, on social media, on mainstream media, their intent is for Ghanaians not to benefit from low pricing of petroleum products. That gold for oil policy is rather what has come in to help address the rampant increases in the foreign exchange so that the Ghanaian consumer can have the benefit of the pricing or low commodity prices at the pump.
Now to one of the sad stories that hit our nation this year. Footballer Christian Atsuh's final funeral rites will be held at the forecourt of the State House in Accra tomorrow, Friday, March 17. The former Newcastle United winger was confirmed dead following an earthquake in Hatay, Turkey. He featured for the Black Stars during his short-lived career, playing from 2012 to 2019. Well, my colleague Bill Ishan has been to the ground where the funeral rites will be held and reports.
Progress has been made at the State House here in Accra. The chairs have been set, the canopies are ready, and most of the things have been done for the final funeral rites of Christian Atsuh. A sad period for Ghana football. In a few hours, Christian Atsuh's final funeral rites will be done here. Now, Atsuh, who used to play for Newcastle, Chelsea and other clubs, was under the rebel in Turkey and did not survive. The Ghana Football Association Executive Council member, that is Nana Odro Safo, he stated that he expects a number of dignitaries, and one of them will be some officials from Christian Atsuh's former club, that is Hatayspor in Turkey.
We are expecting the last club he played for in Turkey, the officials, I think 2 of them are coming. We are expecting the Turkish embassy, we are expecting his agents, and then the parliamentarians, and then the ministers of state. The president of the republic will be here. That's why the whole thing has become a security conscious.
An important footballer for Ghana has been lost. Hopefully tomorrow, people get some closure as the final funeral rites of Christian Atsuh is done. My name is Bill Ishen, reporting for 3 Sports.
In more news tonight, the FBN Bank has launched the first GEM account. The initiative is targeted at giving women in business benefits, including higher interest rates and reward for deposits and lower commercial lending rates.
The FBN Women's Network champions women entrepreneurship and gender equity. The president of FBN, Victor Yawasante, underscored the importance of women in various industries and in leadership positions.
We need women at all leading levels, including the top, to change the dynamic, reshape the conversation, and to make sure women's voices are heard and heeded and not overlooked and ignored. The barriers women face are very different from barriers that men face. And they actually sometimes make the decision not to be at the very top because they make those choices.
Chairperson of the First Bank Women Network of FBN Bank Ghana, Grace Isaac Ayi, noted that the FBN Bank aims to support women financially.
At FBN Bank Ghana, women contribute significantly to the workforce.
First Gem Accounts is designed for female professional entrepreneurs to promote financial inclusion. This is our way of supporting women at FBN Bank.
The head of retail, Alan Quay, reiterated the importance of embracing equity.
The First Gem Accounts would provide women with thought leadership workshops, business advisory services, business skills, wealth management and investment opportunities, a lower cost of banking, and convenience for all first account holders.
Right, a reminder, you're still watching News 360. This is our major news bulletin. Remember, we're streaming live on Facebook. We're also live on your DSTV channel 279. If you feel strongly about any of our top stories this hour, feel free to send us a comment on our Facebook page or Twitter page. We'll take a short break. Still ahead of the bulletin, we'll bring you the very latest in business news.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
I love my life. So the moment the COVID-19 vaccine was available, I went for my jab. I want to stay away from getting too sick or even going to the hospital.
Me too. Nothing is more painful than losing your life or a family member or getting sick when you know the vaccine can stop that.
The COVID-19 vaccine is safe. You only live once, so take the vaccine to enjoy your good life. Get vaccinated now. This message is from the Ministry of Health and Ghana Health Service with support from USAID and partners.
OneXBet! Reliable bookmaker with high odds. Wide selection on events. And bonuses for every taste. OneXBet. Easy use, easy win.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly, not for persons below 18 years.
The sweet scent of rose in the morning brings me so much joy. Inspired by damask rose and infused with 100% natural rose oil. Introducing new Clay Soft Perfume Beads Washing Powder. It's like bringing a garden with you everywhere with this wonderful perfume. Take a garden with you everywhere you go with Clay Soft Perfume Beads Washing Powder.
The business segment is brought to you by MTN.
Well, she has all the facts and figures in the world of business. Dela Michelle, what's going on in the banking sector?
So we know about the debt exchange program, but there has been some banks that are suffering from this particular domestic debt exchange program. And we have a report that has been put together by a banking consultant with what is going to face some banks.
Give us the details.
Let's begin with banking consultant Dr. Richmond Ituahine, who has warned in the new report that several banks are at the brink of insolvency as the domestic debt exchange weigh on their balance sheets. The paper co-authored with KB Frimpong urges swift action by shareholders and the government or risk having several local banks going down.
The paper by the two banking consultants is premised on the International Financial Reporting Standard 9, which is a global accounting treatment for financial assets and liabilities. According to the reports, while 9 banks could be insolvent, 8 banks may experience mild capital losses due to the impact of the domestic debt exchange on their books. 6 banks, however, may not have any issues to deal with. Banks were the most impacted by the domestic debt restructuring, as they hold more than a third of the government bonds. Dr. Richmond Etuahene is co-author of the reports.
The bond was with a 5-year tenor, with an average coupon rate of 19.3%. However, this bond was restructured for 15 years with an average coupon rate of 9%. Nine will stand a test of time as far as capital adequacy and capital requirement, CRD, and capital tier 1. So the warning to the shareholders and the regulator is that this impending insolvency issue must be properly addressed. Other than that, we find ourselves in a very, very dangerous situation as far as the banking stability is. Unfortunately, I don't know who is going to help in recapitalizing.
The Bank of Ghana has lowered its regulatory requirements to ease pressure on banks, but it appears the forbearance is inadequate. The Financial Stability Fund, which is to provide liquidity support to struggling banks, is also yet to be operationalized. This has resulted in banks shying away from loan book expansions to finding ways to stay afloat.
Away from that, individual bondholders have urged the Finance Ministry to act in a manner that will engender investor confidence in the Ghanaian economy. The group wants government to be prompt with the payment of coupons that matured as far back as February. The government of Ghana has, through the Ministry of Finance, begun processes to settle payment on outstanding bonds. Speaking in an interview with 3 Business, convener of the Individual Bondholders Forum, Senor Husi says government needs to be up and doing.
We believe that it would have been appropriate for the ministry to also advise a date for notifying when the rest of the payments will be made, and or exact schedule of payments if it were ready. If it's not ready, I think the minimum that could have been done was just to communicate clearly that government intends to advise a schedule by a given date. That helps manage the market sentiments and expectations, and it engenders confidence. But having said that, we still believe that it's not too late for the ministry to rectify that omission, and we are looking forward to the ministry coming back to us on that matter within the coming.
Let's bring you some Forex updates. Experts are warning the cedi will remain volatile until Ghana reaches a deal with the International Monetary Fund. Negotiations between government officials and the IMF for a $3 billion bailout program are far advanced following the conclusion of the domestic debt exchange program. However, the cedi has experienced volatilities against its major trading currencies, moving between a range of 11 cedis to 13 cedis from year to date. Speaking in an interview with 3 Business, lead researcher at JCB Capital, Karit Buti says nothing significant will change until a deal is reached later this year.
For last week and the beginning of this week so far, it's been stability and some near appreciation here and there. But I think it is largely news sensitive. It will move up and down based on what the market perceives. That we have suspended interest payment on Eurobonds and the other external debt is a big factor why we are not seeing sharp depreciations like we've seen in 2022. But that notwithstanding, there are still pressure from all angles, and especially when we are entering the Q2 period where even if the banks will not be paying dividends, you can expect some corporate and other multinationals to be honoring dividend payments and all of that. Seasonality pressures are still very much in place. And so this up and down movement, I believe, will continue until there is clarity on when the IMF deal is starting and flows from bilateral and development partners start coming in, which will boost our reserves. Until then, this volatility will continue.
GB Foods, producers of Gino and Pomo range of products, has invested $40 million into a tomato processing factory. Management says it is leveraging on the African continental free trade area to increase production and export to other African countries.
The newly built factory comes with a state-of-the-art tomato canning line,
aimed at reducing the amount of raw materials imported, thereby offering more employment opportunities to Ghanaians. The chairman of GB Foods, Karula Mas Arthur, noted that the company outlined some other plans of the company.
We are working to identify locations for 2 adjacent farmlands of 7,000 acres each, where we plan to construct 2 industrial farms with integrated factories to process tomato concentrate. This will supply our products in Ghana and also export to other African countries, taking advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement.
The Spanish ambassador to Ghana, Javier Gutierrez, said the country will continue to drive investments for both countries.
It is a like-minded country, a key partner for the security of the region, and one of our most relevant economic partners in Sub-Saharan Africa. For instance, in 2019, it was our 3rd export destination in this part of the world.
President Akufo-Addo lauded the company for taking such giant strides.
GB Foods is fast becoming a household name in Ghana, with millions and millions of Ghanaians on a daily basis using the products the company manufactures here in our country. On behalf of the Ghanaian people and their government, I express the appreciation of the nation to the company.
And that's how we end the business news right here on News 360. Log on to 3news.com for more business news. My name is Adela Michelle. Sports news is after this break. Stay with us.
What does money mean to you?
It means convenience. It gives me the ability to do business at my own pace.
It allows me to live my life with ease and enjoy my lifestyle without interruptions.
Security. I can make investments I can trust, and I know exactly where my money is all the time.
Having the flexibility to do what I want to.
The feeling and peace of mind I get knowing I can safely receive remittances from my family and friends from the comfort of my home. Money means safety.
Money means so many things to so many people, but no matter what you use it for or what it may mean to you, money is the one thing that keeps us going and makes our lives a little bit brighter. So what does money mean to you? Just Momo it.
MTN. Pepsodent is aware that globally, 1 in 2 children suffer from cavities. That's why by giving her Pepsodent, you're not only protecting her teeth, but also helping her grow up and thrive at every stage of her life with a healthy and confident smile, so she can succeed and achieve all of her dreams. Because every smile matters.
Of Africa.
Mama, will I ever be a soccer champion for Ghana?
Well, you've got to be like a geisha ball. Stay strong and go so far. Never give up till you reach your goal.
Okay, Mama, I'll be strong and go so far, lasting long like this geisha ball.
Be strong and last long
like geisha.
Hola, bonjour, buenas tardes.
Oh yeah, rest upon the couch for me. The brown skin girl, them a look for me.
My name is Engwasa, Miss Universe Ghana, and I'm excited for a good news this Saturday on the Ladies Circle. When I got there, I got into an argument with Miss Korea. She was like, do you remember we played at the World Cup? I was like, yes.
Actually, they did. They lost to us, I think, but then they still qualified.
So she carried it from the football pitch to the pageant stage.
Korea, be very careful. Hey, Miss Peru. Peru.
Para.
Come on.
Peru, para.
Hey. So there is a rule in fashion that sometimes it's better to actually overdress than to what? Underdress. Have you ever had feelings for someone you know you can't have?
Is it one person or people?
Because you know something?
The Ladies Circle shows this Saturday at 6 p.m. on TV3.
Brought to you by Yaz Sanitary Pad.
Time now for the very latest in the world of sports. Recruit.
Yeah.
I understand tomorrow is the final funeral rites for the late
Christian Atsu.
Christian Atsu.
Yeah.
Really sad. I'm sure we'll be covering that story.
Yeah, and so we'd actually be going into what to expect tomorrow in terms of the itinerary, and it's going to be a long day. We start off here in Accra at the State House forecourt around 6:30 a.m. That's when the event is expected to start.
And where's Thierry?
Thierry is in Rwanda, actually.
You got some updates from him?
Yeah, we'll be getting to Thierry as well. But we expect the funeral to run through all of afternoon, and then from Accra head to Ada as well.
All right, take it over.
Also, we'll be starting on a really sad note because on Friday, the body of the late Christian Atsu will be laid to rest with the final funeral rites set to take place at the State House forecourt. Now, the former Chelsea winger was found dead under the rubble after an earthquake in Hatay, Turkey, some weeks ago. We were on the funeral grounds earlier today and spoke to President of Cheetah FC, Abdul Hayate, who shared the itinerary for the ceremony tomorrow.
A lot of planning have gone through to this stage, even before the 1 week. Let me give thanks to the government of Ghana, the Ministry of Youth and Sports, the Ghana Football Association. They have been very supportive to the family, very supportive in terms of a lot of meetings. And yes, so far so good. You saw the 1 week, it was good. And we believe tomorrow as well, all have been put in place and everything is set for the funeral tomorrow.
The funeral rites will be done here, but where will be the final resting place of our late brother?
He'll be sent to his hometown, Madan. The body will be laid. First of all, we'll pick the body up at the 37 military morgue at 4 a.m. and then straight to the family residence in Medina, St. Peter's. From there, then we'll bring the body to the forecourt of the State House and then lay the body in state by 6 a.m. and by 8:30 everybody should be seated because we are expecting the Chief of Staff, the Vice President, the President himself, and that's
So a big day tomorrow, and TV3 would be there to bring you all you need to know in terms of the coverage for the final funeral rites of Christian Atsu, which starts at 6 a.m. right here on TV3. To some more stories, the 73rd FIFA Congress took place earlier today in Kigali, Rwanda. A number of issues were tackled, including the re-election of Gianni Infantino as FIFA president. My colleague Terry Nyan was in Rwanda and filed this report.
So just ended here is the 73rd FIFA Annual Congress. Of course, all the major decision makers in world football converged here for this particular Congress and making several key decisions. Of course, chief amongst them has been the re-election of Gianni Infantino as president of FIFA, and also the fact that he is going to be continuing his mandate as a leader of world football. Of course, he took the position way back in 2016, was re-elected in 2019, and stood unopposed in this particular election. And so he was declared, winner unanimously, by the member associations and delegates here. And he also said that since he took charge in 2016, of course, the FIFA reserves had about $1 billion. Now, FIFA has been made even more profitable because of the $4 billion that they have in their reserves. That, he says, is going to be shared amongst the member associations. Other key decisions that we're taking here include Zimbabwe's continuous suspension from FIFA by the member associations who voted 199 to a single one vote that stood against the decision. Gianni Infantino will continue as president of FIFA, and of course, in the next 4 years, between 2023 and 2027, several of the key decisions that have been taken include the expansion of the World Cup, which means more games will be played at the World Cup, and more games will be played by the players involved.
Well, we have more interviews for you and stories developing from the FIFA Congress, and you can get that on our social media page, 3SportsGH. My name is Oreko Ampofo. Up next on the Bulletin is entertainment.
Are you tired of struggling with bad financial situations? At Quick Credit, we understand the difficulties that come with transitioning to a better one. That's why we're here to simplify the process for you. With loan facilities from 1,500 cedis upwards, all you have to do is call and we will take care of the rest. All you need is your national ID. No savings, no collateral, no susu, no deposits, and no account opening required. Quick Credit has you covered. Whether you're expanding a business, starting a new one, facing an emergency like school fees or funeral expenses, or even just in need of a salary loan. What are you waiting for? Call Quick Credit today. 0302 200 390 or 059 692 0833. We do not give loans via the internet. Quick Credit is regulated and licensed by the Bank of Ghana. Terms and conditions apply. Quick Credit. Lending made simple.
Water is life. Water gives life. Water moves through nature in a never-ending cycle. Observe the beauty of water as it flows all around us, refreshing and restoring. Gaze in wonder at the stillness and beauty of nature. There's harmony in nature everywhere around. Water revitalizes the body and keeps you going strong. Water is life. Water gives life. Drink Awake Purified Drinking Water, one for life. So relax and unwind, and in the calmness of nature, find the rest you desire. For every bottle of Awake you buy, an amount to be donated to the National Cardiothoracic Center. This advert is FDA.
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by Awake Purified Drinking Water and powered by 3 Entertainment. Welcome to the Entertainment News segment. My name is Anita Ekia Ekufu, and news making rounds suggest that Ghanaian hitmaker and reigning VGMA Artist of the Year, Kiddy, is down with stroke, and fans have been left worried. His management, Links Entertainment, has however refuted claims that their talent has suffered a stroke. And according to the label boss, Richie Mensah, even though Kiddy is unwell, he has not suffered a stroke. But Kiddy himself, in his last update on Instagram on February 14, confirmed that he is not in the best of health while announcing the postponement of his Golden Boy North American tour. The singer said the decision was taken due to health issues and that pushing himself to perform will put him and, cause further damage to his health.
Oh, baby, we outside. Yeah, we outside. We are.
We wish him a speedy recovery. And away from that, it's a big win for Africa as 2 of our very own artists have been confirmed to perform at some big events in the course of the year. Fast-rising Ghanaian artist Black Sherif has been billed to perform at Pharrell Williams' Something in the Water concert from 28th to the 30th of April 2023. And announced via the artist and designer for menswear brand Louis Vuitton's Instagram page, Black will be performing alongside Lil Wayne, Summer Walker, amongst other top artists worldwide. On to some more announcements. Burna Boy has been announced as one of the headliners for the UEFA Champions League final kickoff show by Pepsi in Istanbul. And earlier today on the official handles of UCL, an endorsement video was posted to this effect. Huge congratulations going out to them, and we will definitely be here to give you all the highlights. And still in entertainment, versatile Ghanaian rap artist Lyrical Joe is all set to drop his latest album titled Photo Album. The body of work, which features some amazing African artists, is due for release on Friday, March 17. Here is more on what to expect on the Photo Album.
Go down and pose for the picture. I don't dance though, but I'm on TikTok. Go down and pose for the picture.
So this album, Photo Album, I decided to name it Photo Album because I really wanted to paint pictures in the music, you know, pictures of where I've been to, where I am now, and where I'm going to. That's why I really named it Photo Album. So, and this is the first time you're going to have a photo album without pictures to look up, a sound to listen to as well. I have exciting features on there. I featured MDK on Judas, EL on Flex, Darko Vibes on Blessed, Safa on cover.
Lyrical Joe described the album as a great project, noting it comes with a lot of relatable and soul-touching tracks.
And these are songs that I'm really, really excited over. And you know, one of my favorites will be Amen as well, because it really is, it's a soul-touching song as well. So it's a great project, that's what I can say. And this project is one of those projects that I packaged so that when people look back, they'll be like, yeah, this is one of the albums that dropped that year that was really, really great.
So some exciting news. Now, with just 10 Ghana cedis, you could walk away with a grand jackpot prize of a fully furnished house worth $100,000. All you need to do is buy a raffle coast ticket worth 10 Ghana cedis, which will qualify you to enter into the weekly, lifestyle, monthly, and the mega draws. Licensed and regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana, Raffle Coast is Ghana's premium gaming platform where everyone stands a chance of winning life-changing prizes.
Raffle Coast, as it was launched, sells tickets at 10 cities for the opportunity for buyers to win a weekly prize which comprises of lifestyle gadgets or home appliances. And the same ticket would qualify you to enter into a draw monthly for a vehicle, a Mitsubishi SUV. And
with a ticket worth 10 Ghana cedis, one is eligible to enter into the weekly lifestyle draws, monthly draws, and the mega draws. With a grand draw within a period of 3 months, a winner will walk away with a jackpot prize of a fully furnished home worth $100,000. Michael Owusu is the Chief Operations Officer of Raffle Coast.
If you have a smartphone or you have access to an online platform, you type in www.rafflecoast.com. and that takes you to a panel. If that's the first time you're going in there, you have to set up an account to register to participate. Once you register, you purchase a ticket for 10 cities. Alternatively, you can dial *365*224#. It brings a panel, which is Raffle Coast. You type in a registration ID, you type in a phone number, and it's able to afford you the opportunity to play.
Stand a chance of winning a fully furnished 2-bedroom dream house for $100,000. That's over 1 million cedis, or a brand new Mitsubishi ASX in the Raffle Coast.
And that's how we wrap up for entertainment. My name is Anita Ekia Ekufu. Up next is international news. Good evening.
Armed forces in eastern Libya say they have found about 2.5 tons of uranium ore that were reported missing by the International Atomic Energy Agency. 10 drums containing the ore were found near the border with Chad, said the head of the force's media unit. The IAEA has not verified the claim. The agency sounded the alarm after a visit by its inspectors earlier this week to the undisclosed site, which was not in government-controlled territory.
For more news updates, do log on to our website 3news.com, and that's it for News 360. Thank you so much for your time. I am Portia Gabo.
And my name is Pakusia Sari. Later tonight, I'll be sitting in for your regular host, Alfredo Kante, on Ghana Tonight. So do tune in and stay tuned in. Bye-bye.